This is a world where there is no value of money. Here, time is everything. Here, if you want to buy something, then you will have to give some time of your life in return for that thing. Then you will be able to buy that thing. But to live a good life in this world, you also need to have time. Because here, when a person's age reaches up to 25 years, then a year's time starts at that person's hand. The moment the countdown was 0, that person died. The rich had so much time that they could have lived 1,000 years. The rich had created a different world for themselves, where they were living a peaceful life. But on the other hand, the poor people living in the ghetto city worked hard day and night and earned time for themselves. Otherwise, their life would be over. In the settlement of these poor people, there was a boy named Will who had only 23 hours left in his watch. Will lived with his mother. Now, because age stops after 25 years, that's why his mother looked very young, even though she was 50 years old. Today was Will's mother's 50th birthday. Will bought a bottle of champagne to celebrate his mother's birthday by overtiming last night. Seeing this, Will's mother is very happy, and she says to Will that I want to see my grandchildren. Why don't you date a girl? To which Will replies that who has time for all these things? Will's mother told him that I will have to clear the electricity bill and bank loan by tomorrow's date. Otherwise, we can get fined. That's why I'm going now, and I will come back by tomorrow night after collecting all the bills and bank loans. He said that I have only 3 days. I will spend almost all my time to pay the electricity bill and bank loan. That's why you must wait for me at the bus stop tomorrow evening so that I can take some time from you before all my time is over. On this, Will said, "Okay, I will reach on time." Before leaving, Will's mother touches Will's hand and transfers 30 minutes to his body so that Will can buy a good breakfast and eat it. After this, both left for their work. On the way, a little girl comes to Will. She gives Will a capsule and asks him for a little time. Will smiles and gives that little girl 5 minutes of his life in the capsule, and she leaves. Here we know that these people can also store their time in a capsule so that they can use and transfer. After this, Will reaches the factory for work. Before starting work, he goes to get coffee, but there he sees that the price of everything has doubled. Where before you used to get coffee for 2 minutes, now its price has doubled to 4 minutes. Here, anything can be increased without any announcement. Will feels very bad about this. In helplessness, Will also paid 4 minutes of his life for coffee and started working. After a full day's work, at night, Will goes to a bar with his friend. Will's friend was a drunkard. He was always intoxicated with alcohol. Will's friend points out to Will that the man is giving everyone free alcohol, and he has a lot of time. Hearing this, when Will looked at that man, he was surrounded by girls from all sides. When Will looked at that man's watch, then that man had a time of 116 years. Seeing this, Will understands that this man is from Greenwich City because people in Ghetto City have a maximum of 2 days. Will came to that man and warned him that you shouldn't have been here. There is a threat of thieves here. These people will kill you and steal your time, so get out of here quickly. But that man doesn't take Will's words seriously and ignores him and starts drinking. That's when a gangster named Fortis came to the bar with his group, seeing whom everyone ran out. Actually, these are the biggest goons of the city who forcefully steal time from people. Will's friend took Will away, but Will refused to go and hid in a corner and started watching everything. Fortis had come to steal all his time. Fortis challenges that rich man that let's fight. And the loser will give all his time to the winner. This time was like a fight arm wrestling in which 2 people had to hold each other's wrists. The time of the person whose wrist was down started decreasing, and that time was transferred to that man's hand whose wrist was up. In this way, the winner stores all the time in his body from that other man and kills him. Fortis asks that man, "Are you ready for this?" On this, that rich man said that I have drunk too much, so I need some time. After that, I am ready for your challenge. Fortis says that, okay, this is your last wish. Go. I give you a few minutes to get ready. Fortis also sends his man with him so that he can't run away. That rich man comes to the bathroom and starts vomiting a lot because he had vomited a lot. So if he had fought with Fortis in this condition, then the loss of this rich man was confirmed. That's when Will comes there. He kills Fortis's man and takes that rich man out of that place and saves him from Fortis and brings him to a safe place. Will told that rich man that I even told you that your life is in danger. Why are you wasting your time on purpose? That man tells Will his name is Henry, and he asks Will, "How old are you?" Will said 28 years. Henry said, "I am 105 years old, and now I am tired of life. I have enjoyed everything in my life, and now I don't need this life. I don't want to live." Will was surprised to hear this. "What do you want to say?" Henry said, "I think you are still unaware of the truth." Have you ever thought why different time zones have been created in this world? Why are things priced and taxed? In fact, inflation is deliberately increased so that poor people keep dying and their death benefits the rich people of Greenwich time zone. In fact, this whole system is created by them. Just think that people have thousands of years to live in the Greenwich time zone, but here in the ghetto, you work hard to live every day because they have forced you to do this. They don't want to give you much time so that you keep working for them. They increase inflation and force you to spend as much time as possible so that they can live forever from your time. They have collected their life every day from the death of the poor, and I don't want to live such a life that is due to the death of a poor, helpless person. Hearing all this, Will understood that Henry is a very kind-hearted person. Henry asked Will, "If you had as much time as me, what would you do?" Will smiled and said, "First of all, I would stop seeing time because even at that time, Will has only 18 hours. He keeps looking at his watch every time he eats because I am afraid that my time may run out and I may die. Will says that my mom works very hard to take care of the house. If I had as much time as you, I would have bought a nice house for my mom in Greenwich City and we would have lived there happily." After this, Will told Henry, "We will have to stay here tonight. There will be no danger till morning. Then you go back to your house." After this, the two sleep. Henry wakes up in the morning and sees that Will is still sleeping. He comes to Will and transfers all the time he has to Will and leaves a few minutes with himself and sits on a bridge. When Will woke up from sleep, he saw that Henry had left there. Then, as always after waking up from sleep, Will looked at his watch. Will's watch had been added for 116 years. Seeing this, his eyes remained open. He felt that he was still sleeping and dreaming. Meanwhile, Will looked at the window on which it was written, "Don't waste my time." He understands that Henry has given me all his time. Then Will saw Henry sitting on the edge of a bridge. Will quickly ran to Henry, but it was too late now because Henry had only a few seconds left, and after a while he died of a shock and fell into the water. Will is very sad about Henry's death. Now, Will had a life of 116 years, and he understands that if I stay here, people will think that he killed Henry. Will quickly goes to his friend. Will's friend is shocked to see so much time in Will's hand, after which Will gave his friend 10 years of time for friendship. Seeing this, Will's friend thanks him. Will says that it is not right for me to stay here because anyone can kill me. Now I can buy a nice house for my mom in Greenwich City, and I will spend a safe life there. After which, Will says goodbye to his friend and leaves from there and goes straight to the bus stop and waits for his mom, where 2 days ago his mom told him that I will pay the electricity bill and the bank loan and reach this bus stop. On the other hand, Will's mom, after paying all the loans and bills, got on the bus to return home. But then he found out that the ticket price of the bus doubled in 1 day. Earlier, where the ticket came in 1 hour, now the price was 2 hours. Seeing this, Will's mom gets very upset because Will's mom had only 1.5 hours left. Will's mom requests the bus driver that my son will give him the rest of the time at the next stop. But the bus driver clearly refused and said that if there is no time, then go on foot. But Will's mom knew that the next bus stop is very far. If she goes on foot, it will take her 2 hours to reach. At that time, a lot of passengers were on the bus. Will's mom also requested them, but no one helped her. In the meantime, the bus left from there. Will's mom did not have much time left with Rachel, so she started running towards the house on foot. On the other hand, Will was waiting for his mom at the bus stop with a bouquet of flowers because today he had to celebrate his mom's birthday. When the bus reached the stop, a lot of passengers got off, but Will's mom was not among them. Will gets upset to see this and realizes that his mom is in trouble. He immediately ran in search of his mom. There were only a few minutes left with Rachel. She was knocking on the doors of cars and people's houses on the way and asking them for some time, but no one was ready to help her. Here, when Will went a little far, he saw his mom running. Seeing his mom running, Will realized that he didn't have much time. He put his hand forward and started running towards her. There were only 10 seconds left with Rachel. She was running towards Will at full speed, But as soon as Rachel reached her son Will, her time was over and she died. Will was very sad to see this because he had not thought anything for his mom. He started crying. By the next morning, Henry's dead body had been found by the timekeepers. These timekeepers investigate there. In today's world, there were timekeepers who were like the police. The job of these timekeepers is to stop crime. Raymond, the officer of the timekeepers, checked the place thoroughly, but he did not find any clue. Then Raymond's eyes went toward the CCTV camera near the bridge. He left for the CCTV room to check the CCTV footage. On the other hand, Will had understood that only the rich people living in Greenwich are responsible for his mom's death. These timekeepers have made the people of the ghetto city responsible for every second. Now Will went to Greenwich to take revenge, and this is where the real story begins. Will had to spend a year to enter Greenwich City. And when he reached Greenwich City, when Will saw the lifestyle of the rich people, his eyes were wide open. The people there had so much time that they forgot the name of death. Here, the bodyguard of the rich people also had more than 100 years of time. Seeing this, Will turns red with anger because the city where Will came from, the people there had only 24 hours of life. Will stays in an expensive hotel there. While eating food, a very beautiful girl looks at Will as if she likes Will. On the other hand, the timekeeper was checking the CCTV footage of Raymond Henry's death. That's when he sees Will in the footage. Although the camera did not record Henry falling off the bridge, but in that footage, Will was standing in front of the camera, which made Raymond suspect Will. So Raymond asked his team to gather information about Will. During the research, the timekeepers find out that a man named Will has entered Greenwich City after spending a lot of time. This confirms Raymond that Will killed Henry. Raymond left for Greenwich City with his team at the same time. On the other side of Greenwich City, Will came to a casino where some rich people were playing poker. Will also sits with them. Seeing a new man, these people start laughing at him, but Will was an expert in gambling. Today was the best chance Will played poker with a rich man named Philip. Philip is the richest man here. He has his own time bank that gives people time on loans. His daughter is also sitting. This is the same girl who was looking at Will carefully a while ago. When the game starts, Will puts all his lifetime at stake, and because of his mind, he wins 1,100 years from Philip. Seeing this, Philip's daughter is very impressed with Sylvia Will. She invited Will to her home party last night. Then the next evening, Will bought a new car and went to Philip's party. During the party, Will and Sylvia started dancing, and Sylvia fell in love with Will. She was about to tell Will that the timekeeper Raymond reaches there with his team and catches Will. Sylvia got angry with Will. Raymond took all Will's time and gave him only 2 hours. After that, he started arresting Will for Henry's murder. Raymond asks Will, "Why did you kill Henry?" Will says, "I didn't kill him, but he didn't want to live. That's why he gave me 116 years, and then he killed himself." But Raymond doesn't believe Will. Will understands that Raymond will trap him in Henry's fake case and put him in jail for life. So he kills Raymond's men and frees himself. He took his gun and captured Sylvia. Will ran away with Sylvia and returned to the ghetto city, deceiving Raymond and his men. During this time, Will had very little time left. He asked Sylvia for some time, but Sylvia refused to give him even a second because she was also considering him a murderer of Henry. That's why he runs faster towards the ghetto city so that he can get there and borrow time from someone. In a hurry, his attention does not fall on the bells on the road, which knocks Will's car down from the bridge. In this accident, Will and Sylvia fainted. In fact, the thorns were laid by Fortis and his gang. Fortis saw that Sylvia had 10 years of time. He steals all of Sylvia's time and leaves. Meanwhile, Will and Sylvia came to their senses. When Sylvia looked at her hand, she was worried because she had only 30 minutes and Will had only a few minutes left. But still, he gave Sylvia his few minutes, which equalized their time. After this, Will takes Sylvia and goes to his friend's house, which he had given 10 years. When his friend's wife opened the door and saw Will, he said, "10 years of your life took my husband's life. He wasted all his time on alcohol, which killed him." Will was disappointed to hear this, but now they didn't have much time. If they didn't do anything soon, they would die too. Then Will saw a diamond earring in Sylvia's ear. After selling it, Will and Sylvia got 2 days. Then Will came to the phone booth. He called Sylvia's father, Philip, and told him that his daughter was still alive. At that time, Raymond was also with Philip, and Will also knew that Raymond was also there. Will asked for 10,000 years instead of leaving Sylvia and told him to distribute those 10,000 years to the poor through Time Bank and gave time until tomorrow morning. Although this amount was nothing for Philip, but Philip did not want to give time to the poor. Here Will brought Sylvia to his house where the two were waiting for the morning. Meanwhile, Sylvia asked Will where his family was. Will said that last night my mother died because Sylvia feels very bad hearing this and realizes that poor people live here in fear of death. They have to work so hard to earn a day's time. The next morning, as soon as the two got up, they started keeping an eye on the bank from the window, but the bank did not give time to the poor. Sylvia was very disappointed to see that her daughter had no value for her father. Now Sylvia realized that her father is not just a businessman, but he is the head of this system. He saves his life from the death. Seeing Sylvia so disappointed, Will decided to send her back home. He brought her to the phone booth and called his father to call for help. Meanwhile, Will also gives a weapon to Sylvia so that she can protect herself. Here, Sylvia was talking to her father on the phone when the timekeeper Raymond quietly reached there and pointed a gun at Will. Raymond was about to shoot Will when Sylvia saw Raymond and shot Raymond in fear. Will came to Raymond in fear, although the bullet had touched Raymond's hand. Raymond's hand was bleeding a lot. Will saw Raymond's watch. Raymond had only 2 hours left. Actually, the timekeepers also got only 1 day's time, as Will understood that by the time his team would reach Raymond, he would have died due to Raymond's high blood flow. So Will took Raymond's car and left. After shooting Raymond, Sylvia was also on the crime list. Although Will told Sylvia that she can get out of all this now, but in Greenwich, Sylvia's life was like a captive bird in a cage. Her father Philip had put a lot of restrictions on her, but when she came here, she was feeling freedom, because here she was the owner of her will, and Sylvia understands that people are being mistreated here. Now she was also with Will to get the poor their rights. Will and Sylvia started looting the rich. Sylvia, who was aware of Greenwich City, planned to steal time capsules from the banks in Greenwich City and distribute them among the poor. Sylvia first robbed her father Philip's banks because Philip had collected all the time capsules from the bank. They packed all the time capsules in a bag from the safe and started distributing them among the poor. After such a big theft, the government was also fed up with these two, so the government gave them a 10-year time reward. After hearing this news, Gangster 40s started looking for these two like dogs, but Will and Sylvia kept changing their places every day so that they would not be caught by anyone. These two were hiding in a hotel. They did not have a lack of time, so they booked the whole hotel. 40s came out of the hotel. There he caught some people and started asking them about Will and Sylvia, but they had many favors from Will and Sylvia, so they were ready to die, but were not ready to tell the whereabouts of Will and Sylvia. But when 40s forced them very hard, one of them, out of fear of death, tells 40s about the hotel where Will and Sylvia were hiding, after which 40s immediately reaches there with his gang and catches both of them. Now it was impossible for Will and Sylvia to escape from them. 40s put Will on a table and challenged him for a time fight. Will understood that if I refused the challenge, then the gang of 40s would kill me, so why not try it with him today? 40s and Will held each other's wrists, and the game of death began. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a new video.